Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Hello, welcome to this new episode of HumanityWins.net. This is episode 202 from May the 19th of the year 2023. Today is a Friday. And today's episode is something that is being talked about quite a bit. Particularly strangely on alternative media more than mainstream media, which I just follow minimally to be in touch with what is going on so I can speak intelligently about it. But from what I gather, this situation has been minimized, of course, with an agenda, with a purpose by the mainstream media, and has been kind of followed more by the alternative media, particularly InfoWars and the election show. So there's this concept that there's a migration crisis out there in the Mexico-US border, which, by the way, is not far from me. I'm around 200 kilometers from the border and 220 kilometers from the city of Reynosa, where most of the crossings apparently happen. Most people shoot for Reynosa. I don't know why. Maybe because Nuevo Laredo crossing is more commercial, and maybe it's more difficult there to cross. I just want to clarify for the ones not familiar with this part of the world or this situation, is there's a river between the border of the US and Mexico, particularly in Texas. I'm not sure where the Rio Grande is the name of the river, finishes off. I believe it's out there close to El Paso, Texas, something like that. I'm not sure about that. But I can tell you for sure that that river goes from Brownsville, Texas, which is out there in the coast of the Gulf of Mexico, to Laredo, Texas, which is kind of mid-Texas, okay? So that river flows there. I've crossed many times. As I shared, I live in Matamoros for 2 years. I had to cross to school to Brownsville, so that one I know it perfectly. When I was there were 3 bridges, and right now I believe there are 4 bridges. They have expanded the older ones and that. Basically, there's a bridge because there's a river, okay? So there's the only way to cross by car or by foot, legally, of course. The migrants that have the required papers to US visas to cross into the US legally, they go through the river, usually at night. They have to, it's impossible to do it alone, very difficult unless you have done it before or someone is helping you. So there are these criminal organizations called coyotes in Spanish, which is a derogatory term. You're dealing with criminals, okay? And they charge you quite a bit. Don't think it's cheap. I think it's in the thousands of dollars per person to guide you through through the river at night and guide you into US soil. As soon as you are in US soil, I believe they leave you there so you can deal. I mean, that's the end of the deal with them. And of course, there's this school of thought. I don't know details, but there's this school of thought that maybe they're able to do that because in a way they either know the routes, they're not being supervised, or the routes of the border patrol is there, or maybe they are in bed together with the authorities or something like that. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. But that's something you can imagine, that how come they're able to do it. And if you cross alone, there's 100% chance you're going to get caught, okay, crossing into the US and be deported to the normal process that I'm not familiar with, but it's a process that takes weeks or something like that, and you're deported usually to Mexico, even if you're from a different country, or sometimes to your country. I don't know if it depends on that, if it's the first time or something like that. So I just wanted to give some background information because I'm not sure. I'm very familiar with the border. I'm very familiar with what goes on. I've seen people crossing when I cross at night legally through the bridge. It's very common and there's traffic. Very seldom you take less than 15 minutes to cross. Most of the times it's up to an hour. I've taken 2, 3, 4 hours to cross when the backlog, when actually the traffic to cross is out there. For example, in Matamoros, streets and many streets into town. That's the line to get into the bridge. Of course, people trying to cut off when there's a crossing there, when there's a street crossing, and they try to cut off the line. Yes, humans. Okay, we're like, I don't know. We have to mature. Unfortunately, I see that all the time. So basically, it's not a long episode. It's supposed to go around the target of 20 to 25, 30 minutes on these documentary type episodes. Again, I'm trying to listen to all your comments, all your suggestions on how to do the show better, how to make it more professional for you. By the way, the ones that have been complaining about the audio, I'm trying to make some adjustments to my hardware, and I'm thinking of buying another microphone. Although this one is quite the one I have, the Razor is considered a nice microphone for podcasting. I'm trying to improve everything. Okay, again, I'm trying. You honor me with your time. I'm trying to give you my best. Trust me on that one. So we're gonna watch a video. It's from Australia. This is pretty strange. It's kind of the first one I found about the migrant crisis, but it's well done. It's from a news a channel from Australia, from a channel in Australia, but they explain perfectly what's going on, okay, in the Mexico-US border. After that, I'm gonna kind of complement on whatever they speak on the video, and then I'm gonna show you a different video from another part of the world, Italy, a situation I know very well as well. I mean, that situation, maybe it's not close to me physically, but that situation through my family in Italy, through my following of Italian politics, and that I know that situation very well, and I can give you another point. And then finally, I'm going to give you my final thoughts on what I think on borders, what I think on migration. It might surprise you. It's not necessarily what you're thinking. It's not free for all. I want to clarify what I think in my inner intuition, my feelings will be the best way to deal with this extremely difficult situation. I'm not saying you just look at the picture on your screen. Extremely difficult situation to handle, okay? Please don't blame Mexico. Please don't blame Guatemala. Please don't blame El Salvador or Argentina or Bolivia or Asia or Morocco for the ones in Italy, because mostly from Africa. We don't gain anything by just saying, oh, these people, Mexico should do a better job. No, we all should do a better job. That's going to be my point in the end. So let's start with the first video, and then I'm going to keep giving you my thoughts.
The US is right now in the midst of a migrant crisis. Thousands trying to gain entry from Mexico after COVID-era laws officially expired. Let's go live to Nine's US correspondent, Lauren Tomasi, who is in El Paso, Texas. Lauren, thousands are right now in Border Force custody.
Yes, Sophie, about 25,000 migrants right now in the custody of those Border Force agents, and that's a number that's only expected to increase. This week there have been close to 70,000 migrants who have been apprehended trying to cross the border illegally. Look, there were real concerns that there was going to be a surge of crossings when Title 42 officially expired at 11:59 last night. So far that hasn't seemed to have been the case. We've seen hundreds of migrants lined up on the other side of the fence behind me here, but over the past 12 hours or so they're being bussed out to processing centres, and that's where the real problem lies here in El Paso. Those border facilities are at 185%, so much strain on those. And it is those migrants that are now becoming a bit of a political football. Today there was a busload of migrants dropped at the US Vice President's residency. Kamala Harris there just loaded off and left. And in further sad news today, the US government confirming that a 17-year-old boy, a child migrant who'd crossed the border solo, has died in Border Force custody.
Welcome back. As we go to air this morning, America is in the grips of a fresh immigration crisis, right now bracing itself for an influx of migrants from Mexico after a COVID-era border policy expired.
That's right, Jane. So for more, let's bring in CEO of the United States Study Centre, Dr. Michael Green. Doctor, good morning to you.
Good morning.
We're talking about Title 42 this morning, which has expired. What does that mean?
Well, it was a measure put in place during COVID by then President Trump, who was anti-immigration to begin with, to stop illegal immigration, to slow immigration at the border because of concerns about COVID spreading. It expires, and now President Biden is putting in place something to fill that gap, to make it harder for illegal immigrants to come in, but it's politically pretty hard for him.
So we're seeing all these pictures of razor wire and people on the other side of the razor wire. Does the expiration of this article, is it going to mean more migrants or not?
Well, knowing that it would expire, people were rushing to get into the U.S. In the gap before the new measures took place. It doesn't look like there's a real spike in illegal immigration, but there's always a lot. The economy is pretty strong in the U.S. Unemployment's low. There are jobs. A lot of these people are coming from Central America where there aren't jobs, where there's civil strife. So it's a constant problem for the U.S. border and a real political challenge for Biden, whose progressive wing doesn't like what he's doing. But if he doesn't do it, the Republicans will clobber him from the right.
Okay, as I said, that even if it's from Australia, was very short and sweet, and it's a good explanation by that gentleman with the glasses of the situation. Yes, basically there was a migration policy put in by Donald Trump, and that expired May 11 at 11:59 p.m. And apparently the concept is that it's going to be free for all. Basically, you cross the border, you're going to get into the U.S. and that. I don't agree. I think it's been exaggerated. I don't think all these migrants are making it. The ones that get into the buses are making it to the U.S. And, they're not all refugees. That's a different thing. If you claim refugee status all over the world, you kind of get a different treatment in a way. But usually most countries, they do a good effort for you to make your case. Yeah, what are you afraid of? Okay, what are you running from your country? Hey, I'm being persecuted, I don't know, for being certain ethnicity or something like that. That will, or whatever, they want to kill me because of this, because I'm against my government or something like that. But it's not that easy as I'm explaining it. There has to be some evidence or something like that. Again, I'm not an immigration expert. It's just what I gather and what I know from my experience being so close to the border, okay? So let's watch the second video from Italy, okay? And then I'm gonna pack my whole opinion on migration, on borders, and I wanna clarify, I'm a migrant. Okay, I was born in Italy. My parents migrated to Mexico legally. And when I was 1 year old, my father got a job in Mexico City, and we had, Mexican residency papers. I've now become a Mexican citizen legally. I mean, after living in the country so many years, and I still maintain my Italian citizenship by birth. And my children, for example, by Italian laws, they are Italian citizens as well. And we are in the process of doing it for my wife, which we have been married for over 20 years. So again, everything according to the current laws, okay? Which I'm not saying they're right, I'm not saying they're wrong, but they are what we have. And that's what I will explain in my final thoughts. Let's watch this 2-minute video from the situation in Italy. This is also recent from last month, I believe. And I'm gonna give you my final thoughts.
France 24's Seema Gupta is in southern Italy. She told us more on just why the government declared the state of emergency now.
Some 31,000 or so migrants have arrived here in Italy on the sea route in the last couple of months of this year. Now, compare that to 2021 and 2022, it's 4 times the number. There were some 8,000 or so arrivals in the same period in the last 2 years. So just on Monday alone, the Coast Guard here in Italy helping 2 boat arrivals, there was 1,200 people on board. The reception center on the tiny island of Lampedusa, which is physically, geographically closer to Tunisia than it is to mainland Italy, that reception center can deal with some 350 to 400 people. And on certain days, they've had some 3,000 people there. And so they've had to move these people with chartered boats onto Sicily itself or onto the mainland of Italy just to deal with them. Now, the UN Refugee Agency has explained, has come up with some reasons as to why there's been this surge of figures. The first of all is the fact that there's been better weather. Better weather means also that the people smugglers are pushing for more boats to carry more people across and make this incredibly dangerous journey. But with increased temperatures, it's easier for them to do that. On top of that, of course, it's the uncertain political situation. They've seen that the number of arrivals, they're coming more instead from Libya, as they have in previous years. Now there are more arrivals from Tunisia, which is closer. It takes 1 night, 1 day, in effect, to make that journey across. A very dangerous journey, but it's a shorter time. And so a lot of them are making this journey because of the political and economic situation in Tunisia. First off, the economic crisis that the country is dealing with, as well as politically, there's been a crackdown on sub-Saharan Africans in that country by the leadership there. And so a lot of them are being forced to flee.
Okay, so I want to end with this. This is going to be difficult. I end on a high note, by the way, but I'm going to try to explain as best as I can my position on this. Okay, migration and borders. Yes, on a perfect world, same as money, by the way, same as hierarchies, same as governments, same as an agenda control. About if we're sick or not, if we die or not. They don't care about that. They care about cutting a profit. It's a business. Same as all the things I've said, again, hierarchies and all of these things shouldn't exist. We should live in true abundance. Abundance not only is not wealth, is not money. Please change that concept, okay? Abundance is everything being like air. Air is always available. I don't care if you're in Somalia, Tunisia, the countries we mentioned, Guatemala, El Salvador, Argentina, Bolivia. I don't care. Should we agree that you're able to get sufficient air to go through your day? Yes. Everything should be like that, okay? And no one is charging you, by the way. You don't get any bill for air or anything like that. Not yet. Hopefully it never happens. I'm sure if there was a way, they will figure it out, okay? To get us to pay for that. Because again, it's not about the money. They don't care about the money. They control, again, this concept that they are trying to steal from us. They have all, it's a monopoly and they're the bank, okay? They don't care about whatever you have, they're playing. They don't care at all about that. Trust me, your house, your car, they're not trying to take that away, okay? They just wanna keep us controlled. And in the picture, unfortunately, I'm showing in the screen, yes, that's a way to keep you control when you have to flee your country. And again, I want to clarify migration. Illegal migration is an act of desperation. I'm totally sure about that, okay? Yes, of course, there's some of them that are criminals. There's some of them that are, you know, working for whatever system infiltrated there from, you know, some people say are from China, some from Muslim countries. I'm sure there's something like that. I'm open to that. But 90-something% is an act of desperation. You're desperate of your own situation. Either it's violent, either it's economically unviable. You are not able just to go through, you're basically not able to even eat and have basic human, you know, standard of living. And because there is a possibility to go to a better place, you make that trip even if it's illegal. Well, these are my final thoughts. Same as money, same as that, this is what we have in this reality. So that's why I say, in the case of the US-Mexico border, when Trump said, I'm going to make a wall, sir, go for it, okay? Go for it, because then we'll deal with the problem. By the border being possible to cross over, as I showed, they were showing in the first video, people out there in the river, you know, trying to get, that's US soil, when they were showing people in the river with water to their knees. And that, what you saw there, that was the US counterpart of the river, the Rio Grande Valley. Rio Grande River. And Rio Grande Valley is usually considered whatever the river runs, Laredo, McAllen, Brownsville, and I think goes a little bit further than Laredo, okay? Again, I don't recall exactly where it stops. So by doing I think the US has the capability to build quickly in a year, in 6 months, 30 feet, 10 meter, 40 feet, 30-meter wall. That will make it, I mean, who is able to cross in that? That's impossible, okay? And with the technology we have right now, putting cameras and sensors out there, whoever tries to destroy this wall, someone, a drone or something, getting there. So you might think, hey, Alex, are you in favor of this type of control? And no, I'm in favor that we deal with the problem. The problem is why all these migrants want to cross into the US. And it's not everything, you know, a false flag. It's not everything a plan. Trust me, 90-something% of these people are desperate. Why are they desperate? We need to address the issue. That's why, in a way, I'm going to finish on a high note, that's why we need to change this reality. We need to go to true abundance. Because trust me, when we get that, when we get there, people are going to stay in their place. Everyone loves their place of living. In my case, I'm very lucky to have 2 places I love, Italy and Mexico. Okay? But I love my city. I'm from Italy. I love my city. I live in Mexico most of my life. I love my 2 places, okay? There's no other 2 places I will live. Of course, if I get a job, a huge opportunity, financial opportunity to go to Russia, to go to Norway, to go to Brazil, to go to Hawaii, to go to Japan, you take it. But most people, again, 80-20 at least, 80%, if they can, they stay in their place. And there's something there. There's a resonance. I cannot explain it. I think it has to do with frequency and vibration. And that's why some people never leave their hometown. Never leave their hometown, and they're happy. They're extremely happy. And if that situation, the financial, because most of immigration is from financial reasons, okay? That you are not able to make ends meet on the place you are, in place A, so you're looking for place B. And of course, the United States, it's a vibrant economy. It's one of the biggest economies in the world. Yes. So if you are from Honduras, you are probably going to be better off in the United States. But if you're a businessman in Honduras, if you're an engineer in Honduras, if you're a lawyer in Honduras, who knows? I think maybe you're going to be better off in Honduras, okay? Like for me, honestly, I've never, ever crossed my mind to go illegally anywhere, okay? I mean, I've been to the US legally as a tourist, yes. I've lived and worked in the European Union legally as a European Union citizen, yes. But never has crossed my mind. I mean, I remember when I was young, there were 2 countries, most of us friends were talking in our 20s, Australia and Canada. Very strange, because then after COVID, it became, maybe they were not so good options, but Australia and Canada. And I remember a friend making all the arrangements to get the Australian visa, which even to get an Australian visa as a tourist from some countries is difficult. But he was able to get an Australian visa to work there, and he moved to Sydney, and I've lost track of him, but I think he's still there. And he probably built a family there, and I also, a good friend of my wife and I from Poland, she moved to Sydney and got married there, and she still lives there. So, both cases, legal immigration, legal, okay? When you're an illegal, you're at a huge disadvantage in the country you're moving to, because first of all, you're gonna get paid way low for whatever job. If you're a mechanic, if you're a dishwasher, if you're a waiter, if you whatever, if you work out there in, collecting crops or something like that, you're gonna be paid way less than legal people. But that's the way it works. So for some, it's like drugs, okay? Countries make, they do the follow-up saying, we wanna stop migration, illegal migration, but then I remember someone from Italy telling them who's gonna wash the latrines. I mean, the restrooms, okay? All illegals, by the way. Italians don't wanna clean restrooms anymore, okay? So if illegal immigration goes to zero, who's gonna do these jobs that the citizens of this country, are Americans gonna start collecting crops? When that's a job typically done by illegal immigrants, Latins, are Americans gonna start washing, toilets? That's a valid question, okay? Is this game, okay, that governments play that, no, of course we want to stop illegal immigration, but then maybe they see it as a necessary evil. And for me, it's just the exploitation of the human being, and it's part of the many things that are wrong with this reality. And I hope I see the day that if we want to move, that there are no borders, because yes, migration is correct. Borders shouldn't exist. Yes, I agree. In a perfect world, in the new world, in the world we're going, where, by the way, money is not going to exist, where, by the way, everything will be abundant for everyone. So, and by the way, you're going to be mature, and you're going to mature into thinking, I don't want to be better than most. I just want to live in abundance, happy, relaxed. So if you're in Africa, you're going to be fine. You're not going to be thinking of going into Germany, because they're going to be the same like you are in Africa, but they're going to be happy to be there. And then whenever you want to meet, we're all going to be brothers and sisters, and we're all going to learn to mature, to get along, okay? So that's my position on migration and borders. In this reality, like money, if I say, for example, I go to a store and say, you know what, I don't believe in money, so I'm not going to pay, so bye-bye. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. Same thing going to a border and say, you know what, I'm going to cross it. In this reality, that's a crime. I'm becoming an illegal alien or whatever. Yes, very not nice word, but an illegal migrant. No, it's not fine. It's not fine. But I understand whoever is listening. I understand perfectly that these people, the ones you're seeing right now on your screen, are acting out of desperation. So I hope this is one of the things we need to hold on to, that is going to change in this reality we're all going. So you see how all of these things are going to fix itself. But for me, the best way right now, it will be, at least in the US-Mexico border, there is physical land. In a way, in Italy, what, are they going to put a wall out there in the sea? No, because immigration in southern Italy is through the sea, through boats. There's no physical crossing, okay? There's no physical land to cross. In the case of the US-Mexico border, it's all land. So yes, separated by a river, but by the way, it's very narrow, the river. It's probably a mile, a kilometer at the most. I'm exaggerating, it's probably less than that. So of course, they have to cross the river. The river is also very shallow, so there's no, they usually don't cross by boat. They usually cross, just stepping on the river. But yeah, there are many things. A lot of people drown, and yeah. We need to put a stop to that by the US securing their border and Latin American countries dealing with the issue of immigration and making conditions better for their inhabitants. In this reality, as we step into the new reality that everything's going to be fixed, it's going to look like magic, but it's going to actually be through the act of love, through the act of tapping into our divine connection. We're going to just make the world a better place. And this, what you're seeing in the screen, is not going to happen. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I tried to give it my best. In a way, it's surprising, but we kind of ended on a high note, as I always like. Please stay for the last 3 minutes of the show. And if everything's okay, I'll see you back on Monday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it, please, with family and friends. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new war. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how old emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Please be sure to check out our friends from Waking the Future and their awaken-attire.com shop. They gave me my first opportunity to speak about this and I will be forever grateful. Link to their channel and shop on the show notes. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.